Boom! VikesNow, Dustin Baker, the Tuesday, May 24th edition. We're talking about the rookies from the 2022 draft class and who will have the biggest impact on the immediate 2022 season. This show is not going to discuss the long-term trajectory or projection of who will be the best when the career is over. This is talking about the dudes that will do stuff in 2022 on the field for the Minnesota Vikings. I tell you what, it was tempting when coming up with my list of 5, just go down the line in order. It felt safe. Alas, I did not do that because it rarely works out that way. An NFL draft is a puzzle, and it is very unlikely, or at least lacks precedent, where down the line the Vikings' first 5 picks make an impact accordingly. There's usually weird shit that happens, so I'm here to lift up my opinion of the weird shit and how it will shake out. So let's start. This is going to go in order from least impact of the 5 that I've picked out to most impact at number 1. And like I said, there's a couple surprises here, at least like if you put a poll out there, it wouldn't go like this. So I'm going to start at number 5, which is linebacker Brian Asamoah from Oklahoma. He is freakish. He is probably need to be refined at an NFL level. And I think he'll, out of the 5 that I've selected, I think he'll have the least impact for a simple reason. The Vikings employ Eric Kendricks and Jordan Hicks. They're going to be in the middle of the defense. 2 off-ball linebackers. Up front, 5 gentlemen. Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith, gloriousness, on the edges. And in the middle of the defensive line, Harrison Phillips, Dalvin Tomlinson, and probably Armon Watts. And on the back end, you've got your safeties, Cameron Dantzler, Patrick Peterson, probably Lewis Cine, who we'll talk about in 5, 6, 7 minutes, and Harrison Smith. So, unless something happens to Kendricks or Hicks, Asamoah's playing time will depend on dudes getting hurt, or if they decide they're going to put Asamoah in a safety type of role when they already have Cine and Cameron Bynum for that. So the primary reason that I don't have Asamoah in his organic spot, which would be number 4 in terms of impact, is that Jordan Hicks doesn't come off the football field. He's got a marvelous track record of health, lack of injury history, I should say, and he plays every snap. If you go look at StatHead, ProFootballReference.com, and look at his snap counts, it's like every season for the past 4 years, it's 90-plus something snaps that he plays. He doesn't come off the field. Same thing with Kendricks when he isn't hurt. Kendricks had a down year in 2021. God love him. He hopes to rebound within this new Ed Donatel defense. But Kendricks is also a dude who doesn't really come off the field when he's healthy. So it's almost an orphan scenario. Asamoah, is depth in terms of that, unless they, the summer show us plans to get freaky with the guy who is freakish. So out of sheer snap counts, I have Asamoah at number 5. My number 4 is where things get a little surprising. I have a Caleb Evans, Missouri, round 4. And I'm going to pivot to Mike Zimmer and his adage that cornerbacks get hurt. You can never have too many of them. So with Evans, it's not a crowded house after the big name CBs that the Vikings employ. So you have Patrick Peterson and Cameron Dantzler, who will probably start. Andrew Booth is there. We're going to talk about him in 2 minutes. And then Caleb Evans, Harrison Hand, Perry Nickerson, and Chandon Sullivan, who will start the slot. But if something happens to the starters, Dantzler, Peterson, or Sullivan, it seems like it would be easier for Evans to beat out a hodgepodge of Perry Nickerson and Harrison Hand. Now, that's just infallible draft thoughts. No draft prospect that's existing on NFL roster right now is going to flunk out of the league. No, they're all going to be the next big thing. Whether it's the Gopher edge rusher, a Stacey that the Vikings drafted, or Tyler Muse becoming, Nick Muse becoming the TE2 for the Vikings. They all have these pristine visions of what they can be. Not all of them are going to work out. That's a guarantee. But with Evans, I think because cornerbacks tend to get hurt and Harrison Hand and Perry Nickerson aren't too difficult to nudge out of the way, I foresee Evans getting a little bit more playing time because of the injury tendency to cornerbacks. And by a whisker, I pick him over Asamoah. If I felt like tying these two, I'd probably tie him at number 4. Alas, we get to number 3. The order of the earth is restored a little bit. I have Andrew Booth here, and he's going to be very interesting to watch this summer for a couple of reasons. The Vikings have 2 outside cornerbacks that are considered starters. Patrick Peterson has this fat-ass resume of all-pro selections with the Arizona Cardinals. They brought him back for a reason. He's probably going to get significant playing time. He played well in 2021. I don't care what the debate says. I think I've given this speech on the show that Patrick Peterson played well in 2021 for a cornerback. He didn't play well compared to 2014 Patrick Peterson because that guy was Herculean. And so as Peterson starts to wind down his career, the level of performance you got from him last year did the trick. He's just not the all-pro guy that he was with the Cardinals 5, 6, 7 years ago. So Booth, regardless, in a pass-happy league, you're going to have oodles of secondary members on the field in Ed Donatell's defense. I think he will make the 3rd most impact of all of these rookies that were selected in April and, late April. And I don't know. The thing that's interesting about him, he's coming back from the sports hernia injury. He made what I consider infamous statement about how he's never been healthy yet. And I've told you guys a couple times in the show, well, why the hell not? And why is it going to start now? College programs have off seasons too. You could have got healthy then, homie. But no, he's recovering from the sports hernia. You should see him in June on the field in Eagan. And then you have to see, does he have what it takes right out of the gate to knock Dantzler out of his starting job? And then bada bing, you'd have Booth and Peterson to start. And that's not strange at all. Perhaps he's better than Dantzler. However, Dantzler deserves a fair shake because he has matured nicely in his first 2 seasons. I know he had the weird doghouse trip with Zimmer, which I still don't understand why he had to prove it on special teams. But when Dantzler is going along the trajectory just as a young cornerback should. Now we wait to see if Dantzler breaks out into a Pro Bowl status or if he's just a decent cornerback all in all, living in that 70 PFF range. Now his job will be to go into the 80s and become a Pro Bowler. Nonetheless, I think Booth is going to make an impact, and I got him at number 3. This is where things get a little wonky, at least in terms of if we polled the masses, they'd probably say Cine, number 1 with the bullet, because he's the first rounder. I have Cine at number 2. Cine was drafted with the 32nd pick from Georgia. The Vikings could have had Kyle Hamilton with the 12th pick, but said, nope, we don't want that guy. We're going to trade some picks and get a different safety, who we like even more than Hamilton, evidently. So Cine is... I have slated for the 2nd most impact because I believe he will start. All he has to do is oust Cameron Bynum from the free safety job, which I don't even know if that's a thing. He probably already has it, especially if you look at projected depth charts from Bleacher Report, ESPN, Sporting News, that kind of shit. Cine's already the guy penciled in. So I indeed think that he is an apropos draft choice for life after Harrison Smith, which could come this year, could come in 4 years. Who knows how long Smith will continue to play. But Cine, because he should be a September 11th starter against the Green Bay Packers, and how much the league passes the football these days, I consider Cine as a gentleman who will make an impact right away. He'll start, and if he doesn't, that means Cameron Bynum is just absolutely wonderful. But yes, Cine will have a role, and I think he has the 2nd most impact. He actually is the 18th most likely player to win Defensive Rookie of the Year per odds makers. I was looking at odds makers websites to figure out where he landed. And Andrew Booth actually has a better chance per the odds per Vegas to win Defensive Rookie of the Year over Cine. Now, that isn't necessarily because the world thinks Booth is a better football player. It's just that safeties rarely win Defensive Rookie of the Year. The last one was 32 years ago. Mark Carrier for the Chicago Bears. I remember him because I had a football card of Mark Carrier, and he won the damn thing in 1990 as a rookie safety. Since then, zilch. No safeties have won Rookie of the Year. In fact, in the last 8 seasons, 2 cornerbacks have won. Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Peters. Chiefs and then Saints for Lattimore. So cornerbacks are more likely to win the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, and hence Booth has better odds to win the DROY than Lewis Cine. If you're wondering why, this is quite the tangent that I went off on. Oh, also, I'm going to continue the damn tangent. No Vikings player on defense has ever won Rookie of the Year. Did you know that? 5 offensive players have won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Chuck Foreman, Sammy White, Randy Moss, Adrian Peterson, Percy Harvin. I think we often forget that Peterson and Harvin won Rookies of the Year in back-to-back almost, 2007, 2009. Really cool. Whenever the Vikings draft offensive players, you know, they have home runs. Now they just need the damn Super Bowl, right? So, all right, so Cine is the 18th likeliest player to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Booth is 14th. I can't remember the odds off the top of my head. I think it was plus 3,500 or something like that. So, number 5, Brian Asamoah, the linebacker, Oklahoma. Number 4, Caleb Evans, cornerback, Missouri. I don't know if it's Missouri or Missouri. Don't really care. Number 3, Andrew Booth, Clemson. Better see some playing time. He was a first-round pedigree. Most mock drafts, I know you did them. Had him between like 20 and 32. Fell to the Vikings at, I don't remember what it was, 40-something, 41. Can't remember what the exact number is. Number 2, Lewis Cine, the safety, 32nd overall pick, hard hitter. Hopefully his presence felt against the Packers on September 11th. Number 1 from me, the Viking who's slated to make the biggest impact is... Did you say it out loud? Ed Ingram, the controversial one from LSU. Here's the deal. The Vikings have sucked at guard for 4 straight seasons. Every time you turn on your television, every time you go to US Bank Stadium, every time you go to a road Vikings game, the trenches, abysmal. Kirk Cousins on his ass. Never has a clean pocket. Mike Zimmer, Rick Spielman couldn't fix it. They tried over and over. They drafted tons of dudes with second-round or higher draft capital. It didn't work. Dakota Dozier sucked. Drew Samia sucked even more. They don't work here anymore. Tried Oli Udo, converted him from turnstile tackle to right guard. Decent guard. Flags this color all over the field. He ain't going to be right guard anymore. So... Zimmer, Spielman out. New regime in. I think they looked at this thing and saw it the way that you did. Like, can we finally get a right guard who's not a parking cone? So bada bing, they signed first Jesse Davis, a tackle from the Dolphins who will either come compete for right guard or be a backup tackle. Then Chris Reed, who I'm really high on, from the Colts, an actual guard. He came over, and so they have a solution-oriented approach to right guard for the first time in a very long time, but none of that supersedes the draft of Ed Ingram in the second round. I've said on this show and in my writings over and over, you don't draft a guard in the second round without a clear-cut plan to start him. So I think because the franchise has been miserable at right guard for too long, I think Ed Ingram will come in right away with that giant second-round draft stock and put an end to the misery. I hope that isn't my optimism talking, because if Reed, Davis, and Ingram can't fix the right guard spot, then there's a curse. There's a hex, and we'll just have to accept it. So I think that all of the anxiety about an RG being a revolving door to put Kirk Cousins on his buttocks, I think that's coming to an end. And I believe the method to actualize that is Ed Ingram. I believe he starts week 1, controversy be damned, and he's going to be the starting solution, and they'll have to figure out what to do with Jesse Davis, and then perhaps Chris Reed just has that role where he fills in for when a dude's hurt or take snaps off. Even offensive linemen don't do that too often. But I think that number one in your hearts, addressing the offensive line, which you've pounded the table for too long, I think Ed Ingram is the solution for that. And I therefore think he has the most impact because you can stop thinking about right guard. The ideal situation for guards in the NFL is you don't even know their names. They just do their job. They wrestle up front with these big old defensive linemen, and they're anonymous, so to speak. I think Ed Ingram will have that impact. And from left to right, you'll have Darisaw, Ezra Cleveland, Garrett Bradbury, if they can find some voodoo that others couldn't, Ed Ingram, and of course, Brian O'Neill. Ed Ingram is my forecasted rookie to make the most impact merely because he solidifies a position that's been a pain in the ass for too long. So, at the top, Brian Asamoah, number 5. Number 4, Caleb Evans, because he should see snaps. Cornerbacks get hurt. Number 3, Andrew Booth. Number 2, the first-rounder Lewis Cine. And number 1, I guess you'd call it a little dark horse, Ed Ingram finally fixes the RG spot. I will be back Wednesday and Skol, baby.